You're still selling the flat iron.
I'm still selling the shit out of it.
Right now, women are investing in their beauty more than ever.
So hold on, let me get this straight. You don't think that marketing your face and head on a package for a hair press iron, for a hot iron, is a good idea?
It's not good.
They be like
shit. My head might end up like his.
His hair burnt off.
The All About Nothing podcast is proud to support the 2023 Soda City Comic Con. August 19th and 20th, join thousands of fans of fantasy, comics, science fiction, anime, classic games, pinball, and much, much more as they descend upon the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. 1-day and 2-day tickets are now available for your chance to meet Sean Astin. As well, you can meet actor 90s heartthrob Vanessa Angel. Plus, you'll meet voice actors from your favorite anime series like Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, One Piece, and many more. Visit theallaboutnothing.com for links to more information and ticket information. The 2023 Soda City Comic Con is a premier pop culture experience in South Carolina. Get your tickets now. Visit theallaboutnothing.com for details.
The All About Nothing podcast may have content and language that isn't appropriate for some. Listener discretion is advised. Recorded live from G.O.T. Sound Studios in Lexington, South Carolina, this is the All About Nothing podcast. With Barrett Gruber, Zach King, and of course, me, Trent and Clark.
All right, welcome to the All About Nothing podcast. Barrett Gruber, Trent Clark, Zach King. We're also joined by Dominique. Of course, you know him as Nique the Geek.
Stewart.
Yes, thanks.
Nique the genius now.
Did anybody else wish him a happy birthday yesterday?
Of course. Real friends call.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not too late, you know.
Happy birthday.
You got to say belated now.
What's messed up is I looked at Facebook memories, and it was like 12 years ago. Happy birthday, Nique. And I was like, I got to wish him a happy birthday.
That was the last time we did it 12 years ago.
I was going to say, I assume.
He's the only one that brought it up.
I'm assuming he looked at that and was like, oh, there's no way his birthday's today, too.
Yeah, because it would have showed you all the happy birthday Niques like that you done over 12 years.
No, it wouldn't. They don't do that.
His birthday's not the same day every day. Yeah, is it always on a Tuesday? No.
Facebook memories are a little weird because they show you them randoms. Like, you like, is that me texting?
Because I definitely knew Nique over 12 years.
Correct.
So,
yeah. All right, this is episode number 167. Please subscribe to the show. That's how we get new listeners. Also, please consider supporting us financially by visiting theallaboutnothing.com and becoming an official member and probably calling yourself a true nothinger. We have a bunch of membership tiers available that give you early access and exclusive content, as well as a $100 Trent tier, which if you sign up for that one, he'll come over to your house and do whatever you want him to do within up to the line of the law.
Correct. Barrett tried to use that yesterday.
Yeah, I did. Are you
the first Trent tiers?
I've been a Trent tier for 3 years.
Yeah.
Also, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, you think we're worth it, go ahead and give us a review and drop us that 5 stars. If you're not on Apple Podcasts, give us a review where you can. Share the episode with your family and friends. Follow us on Twitter at AAN_pod and Facebook at All About Nothing US and interact. Just search for the All About Nothing podcast and visit our website for links, theallaboutnothing.com. And for that, out of the way, shout outs. Big thanks to Brock and Amy, organizers of the 2023 Soda City Comic Con, August 19th and 20th, Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. 1-day and 2-day tickets are now available. You can find details at theallaboutnothing.com. We will be there selling merch, taking pictures, chatting with patrons of the con. Also, we will get to do some interviews with Sean Astin, Vanessa Angel, Michael Bean, Jennifer Bean. Am I saying that right?
No, it's Bean.
Bean. Oh, I'm sorry. Michael Bean, Jennifer Bean. As well as one more guest that had not been announced until
just a few minutes.
Yeah, just about 10 minutes ago. So I can go ahead and say, since Brock has put that out there, Summer Glau.
And the one half of the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, and half of the Hardy Boys. But yeah,
that's crazy.
Summer Glau. If you don't know who Summer Glau is, you're shaking your head. No. You ever seen Firefly?
No.
Serenity?
No.
Have you ever seen the Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles?
Sarah Connor.
No.
Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Is that the one with the little boy?
Okay. Well, just know it's a pretty big deal.
It's basically that timeline between Terminator 2 and
with his mom
when she died. Yeah, it's all about the
mom. Yeah.
Okay.
She's the Terminator. Right? No, she's the Terminator.
Oh, I didn't see no girl.
She's a
she's the
Terminator.
good Terminator.
Yeah, she's a good Terminator.
Okay.
So go ahead and get your tickets now. 2023 Soda City Comic Con. Again, you can find links to the details on our website, theallaboutnothing.com. Also, thanks to me and Welcome to Wonderland podcast, as well as Carrie from What the Pod Was That, and our Dungeon Master Micah, who led our band of heroes through the woods, taverns, and beer breweries. That was the last episode, so go check that out. That was episode number 166. Again, John Kosis Jr., thank you very much, the Columbia Fireflies, for our weekly Nothing or Firefly update. We have a new page on our website actually highlighting all of our merchandise, so go to theallaboutnothing.com. You can find our brand new shirts, which none of us are wearing right now, but they look nice, so go check them out.
Correct.
So introductions, real quick. Dominique Stewart, of course, you also know him as Nique the Geek, artist and engineer, owner and operator of G.O.T. Sound Studio in Lexington, South Carolina. If you're an artist, musician, content creator, and you and you haven't found the right sound or visual for it yet, come to G.O.T. Sound Studio, because that's where we record. That's where you should record. Also, want to welcome to the show. He is a serial entrepreneur and founder of Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. He helps provide Black entrepreneurs with actionable procedures to help them launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. He has more than 20 years' experience as a successful entrepreneur himself by building more than 17 businesses, including 2 multi-million-dollar companies. The success is based on his personal philosophy, bet on himself. He's an author, speaker, and coach, as well as host of the podcast Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and he dislikes the Dallas Cowboys as much as I do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Jay Jones. Welcome, Jay.
Hey, appreciate you guys having me on your platform. Thank you so much.
No, we're very excited to have you. So just a little background into how I found out about Jay. I was introduced to Jay on the Juneteenth of this year. When my company held an employee presentation where Jay was the guest speaker. So I have a bit of a man crush on him. I'm sure he's tired of the text messages by now.
Don't talk too loud, man. Don't say that too loud.
Hey, his list that he hates is a little bit longer than that, so just feel good. He has a long hate list.
Oh, he has a big hate list.
But yeah, no.
Existing gets you on it sometimes.
Jay spoke on Juneteenth about just everything encompassing about Juneteenth and things like that, and I think we had a really good discussion with the employees at Duck Creek. That was, and I enjoyed it immensely. And as soon as the conversation was over, I started messaging the people that were responsible for getting you on, and was like, I gotta know how to get a hold of him. I got to know how to get a hold of him. And then it was only within a few minutes that you and I were chatting.
Definitely.
And it was great. So, Jay, you live in Philadelphia, correct?
You see that behind me right here, right?
Neat. That's like your daddy, ain't it?
Yeah, my dad is Philly fan.
We're going to get him in touch with your dad and Bill Kimmler, so y'all all could go to an Eagles game.
And Nique's dad. Yeah.
So I was jokingly going to ask you if you brought me back anything from Cancun, but now that you know.
You know what? Actually, I do have a couple extra shot glasses, man. I'll send
Hey,
you.
There you go.
I'll just come up. I'll just visit. No.
But I do want to say something, Barrett. When I saw your email, I didn't read the questions.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, no. The reason I don't do it is because I want to be spontaneous.
Sure.
And so, yeah, but I appreciate you sending them to
of
me,
course.
I didn't read it. Yeah.
And this is the All About Nothing podcast, so we're kind of like spontaneous anyway. So since you have that, feeling about the interview, we love it even more because now we know we're getting the authentic and not the ready for question.
That's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, tell us about the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint.
It's a podcast I started in 2014. So I've been rocking basically almost 10 years, 9.5 years. Episode 476 dropped on Monday.
Woo.
And I drop some new heat every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Find me on all your major podcast platforms and YouTube. But most of my downloads come from they're more from the podcast than the video aspect.
Sure.
But so I started that because being a serial entrepreneur, people always ask me, hey man, how do I start this business? What do I need to do? And I just felt that more people would want to learn this information or know this information. Not that I'm a guru or anything, but I've had serious experience, positive and negative. Started 17 businesses, also in my bio, you saw that, Barrett. I almost lost it all twice too.
Yeah.
So I was blessed to be able to make 2 comebacks. And so I've seen the gamut from the highs and the lows. And so I just want to share my experiences with people to help them hopefully not have all the pitfalls that I have.
Some of those lessons learned the hard way.
Yeah, man. That's the best way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur?
I think it means, depending if you set it up right, it could mean freedom, self-expression. And the biggest thing I talk about is living in your genius. And I call your genius is the intersection between your passion and your talent. Most people don't know how to monetize that genius. So they end up doing things just for the money. So they're chasing paper versus purpose. And so the highest form of entrepreneurship to me is living in your genius and being able to monetize that. So whatever that genius is and whatever entrepreneurship means to you, go for it. And for me, it was all about flexibility, freedom, and the ability to earn as much money as I could with no ceilings or caps.
Yeah. I was actually just having a conversation with a friend today that was talking about how they were losing a passion for what it is they do, but it was the necessity of having to keep doing it to bring in an income. I mean,
right.
And that's ultimately, I think that's what drives a lot of us isn't necessarily we're doing what it is that we want to do. We're doing what we have to do.
Yeah, correct.
So it's finding that niche in getting or bringing in that income on that niche that you find passion through.
Exactly.
What do you?
Now, I do want to add something to that, guys. So people always ask me, what's the best business to start? And I tell them I don't know because it all depends on you. So most people either do something that they're passionate about or they solve a problem. And solving a problem is usually the easiest way to start a business. Problem, solution, whatever your product or service is, result. But a lot of times people get caught up in that business because they're chasing the money once again, and that business may have nothing to do with what they're passionate about or even what they're good at. So,
and that gets you
got to
away
look at it like that.
Right, and that gets you away from the living part of life.
Yeah,
exactly.
What would you suggest to somebody that has come to you for coaching advice as far as in a situation similar to that, where basically they're not necessarily they're almost in line with what it is that they want to be doing, but if I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but basically they're almost to the point where they're doing exactly what they want to do, but it's not necessarily bringing in the income that they can support themselves doing it.
The first thing you have to look at, number one, is your product or service. Is it valuable? Do people want it or need it? I'll give you a real life example. One of my best friends, like my brother, is in a home automation. So during the pandemic, he decides to start a home automation company where he's selling high-end stuff, right? And he's selling stuff that, you come into your driveway, you push your button, your lights come on, all of that stuff. I'm like, dude, you like that. But the question is, do other people want your product or service? So that's the first thing you have to look at. And number two, when you're trying to live in your genius, what you have to do is you have to look at what you're good at, what somebody is going to pay, who's going to pay you for the service, and, what do you enjoy? And so if you can put those three things together, then you can kind of develop a business. And there's only 6 things you can sell, guys. 6 type of things. Your physical products, like your new t-shirts that you're not wearing today, your digital products, your services, somebody else's physical products, somebody else's digital products, and somebody else's services. So when I go through and I talk and coach people about, pinpoint and monetize your genius, which is a course and a program I've created, you have to understand that those are only 6 type of things you can sell. And based on what your genius is, you may have check boxes in 2 or 3 of the categories, whatever makes sense. So you're almost starting with a blank canvas. And that's what I tell everybody. Tell me what you like. I like to sing, but am I good at it? No. So I'm probably not going to be able to make money as a singer. Do something you're good at, do something that you're passionate about, and also do something that people will pay you for. So those are the 3 things that you need to look at when you're starting a business based on your quote unquote genius.
Can I ask something?
Yes, sir.
So let's say you have you're trying to create multiple streams of revenue, like that don't take all of your time. Like recently, I've been introduced to the concept of network marketing. How do you feel about that?
How much time you got, Don? All right. So here's the thing. I over my 20 plus years as an entrepreneur, after I left corporate, after I went to college, left corporate, I was a stockbroker for Merrill Lynch and Dean Witter, which is now Morgan Stanley. So I left that making good money, but I always have been dibbling and dabbling in network marketing. One of the things you guys, I don't know if you ever heard of Excel. You ever heard of Excel? It's like you ever heard of ACN?
Yeah.
It's like the selling telephone service. So I was big into that, made a little bit of money, but the head or one of the top distributors for Excel came to my house to do a presentation. And he said, man, I'm going to tell you, you will never make the money that I made because you didn't get in on the ground floor. He was like the number 6 guy in the company. So network marketing, what you want to look at, Dom, is how is the money being generated? Statistics show, and they did something on Amway, 97% of the revenue from Amway didn't come from selling the products. It came from the sponsoring people.
Yeah. Yep.
And so that's what a pyramid scheme is. You got to have, it's not a pyramid scheme, but you have to have a product to not be considered a pyramid scheme. And a lot of times when you have these companies, the number one question you want to ask a network marketing company, what percentage of revenues come from the sale of your product or service? And I guarantee you, they're not going to tell you more than 10%. So if you don't mind connecting and bringing people into business, it's cool. But if you're trying to move a product or service,
that's your Mary Kay's of the world kind of thing, too.
Yeah, that Mary Kay
stuff. Is this a PG show or R show?
Oh, R.
We're explicit.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. All right. So I'm not going to go all the way in. But a lot of times network
Trent looks at
marketing
me.
is bullshit. It's bullshit because all you're doing is you're recruiting people, and that's normally how you make your money.
Yeah.
And you're not moving product up and down through your downline.
It's more of a farm system kind of thing where you just get the people in their membership and buying into the idea when, like you're saying, it's not moving product. It's who else can I get into?
Yeah, and
Correct.
And what you're doing is you're trying to, you're farming. You're encouraging people under you to get more people in under them, and then to get more people under them. And to speak honest, I did Amway. When we had the girls, we did Amway for a little while. We got involved, and honestly, I'm the type of person that I can't convince somebody to sign up for something underneath me, especially when I know that there's 30 levels above me that are making,
and they'll have
bukus.
like a $5,000 buy-in for some of these things. Like my parents got sucked into 2 different ones, and I'm like,
wow.
Even sitting there at 13, going like, Dad, I don't think this is how you make money.
Well,
Okay,
I had one, and like I literally, like the guy kind of recruited me from me going to like the Fireflies baseball game that I went to and I took my son.
He hit you up at the baseball game.
He came up to me talking to me randomly and was like, "Hey man, I see you chilling with your son, man. How would you like to make some some passive income, like income that you really ain't gotta do no work for?" And I was like, all right. So he hit me up and I went to the meeting. As soon as they got there, the first slide said, "Yeah, so you just got to pay such and such." And I was like, "Oh
Nope,
my
I'm
god!"
Did they bring out
They
the
got
food
me.
and drinks first?
Oh yeah, it was definitely food. And they was at like a nice hotel and everything. They had like a little a speaker that was there for like 30 minutes. But it's so weird because the speaker would like walk. Like I told him where I worked at because they sold CBD products.
Yeah.
So after I didn't hit the guy back up, like the guy that spoke kept coming to the mall and getting massages in front of the CBD stand. So
like, I didn't have to work for none of this.
Well, let me ask you this, Dom. So it sounds like you're looking for passive income, right?
I am, yeah.
All right. So you're in the music business, I gather from the intro, right?
Yes.
So out of the 6 ways that I talked about making money, one of the passive ways you can make money is, what's your expertise? Are you a producer? You're a musician?
So I'm a recording and mixing engineer. That's what I mainly get paid for. I do produce and I do write as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you this: what type of board what mixing board do you use?
I don't use a control surface per se, but I
Okay.
use Pro Tools. That's the
Okay.
DAW I use.
All right. So perfect example. You can teach somebody what you know. So if you can create an online tutorial or course about using Pro Tools as an engineer, you create it. Doesn't have to be super long. It could be 60 minutes, whatever, couple different, chapters, or broken down into different chapters, whatever, for beginners. And then you take them all the way through the process. You show them, screenshots. And now you can sell that, I don't know, maybe $47, $97 or whatever. And now you're taking something that you do naturally and you're trying to monetize it, which is passive. Once you create the online course, now all you got to do is promote it, and you got a podcast here. You got people that are interested in the industry. I'm going to tell you right now, man, I go and get a lot of free stuff on YouTube, and that's fine because that means people are interested in it. But if you position your product, your online course as a course for professionals, because you get paid to do this. You're not doing it, no bullshit. You're doing it you make money doing this.
Yeah, and
so
I'm
now
certified,
you have a level, right? And you have a level of professionalism that you can speak from. And now people that are interested, man, you can send them to your course. So anything you can teach, and it's big right now. You guys, what's it called? It's Teachable out there. There's all kind of different platforms.
Oh, the master class.
Master classes and
master classes.
Yeah.
So that's passive, man. So you just got to drive traffic there.
That's very smart.
That's like initial footwork and then put it out. That's pretty.
And on top of that, you can charge somebody more if they need more other than what you taught them on the course. So then you can charge them extra money. You know what I'm saying?
So I can't remember, how many businesses have you had?
17, brother.
17, and how many of them failed? Like just.
Oh, I was just getting ready to tell you. Now it's so funny because I did a live speaking event down in Mississippi. It was like last year. And somebody was asking me, what were all the businesses? And at that time, I couldn't remember because some of them were like, I was in it for about a month and it was gone.
Yeah, lights on, lights off.
I wrote it down. So 5 of the businesses were abject failures. Absolutely nothing, right? 4 of them were, Then I had 3 of them that were real good. And then I had 4 of them, I think that's up to 17, whatever. 3 or 4 of them that were real good. So my two biggest businesses are my mortgage business that I had, which I'm actually back in the game again. And also I sell physical products. I create product brands and I sell on my own websites and Amazon. So for example, one of my products is Hell Yeah Hot Sauce, right?
Oh,
nice.
So yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to send a couple bottles down here, man.
Yeah, I love hot sauce.
Is that a waiver signing hot sauce? Because I like hot sauce.
I don't like the ones that you...
I got multiple flavors.
I'm about to say, is that the one where you can't taste again?
Carolina Reaper. You know what I mean?
Hey, Brock, I wouldn't do that to you, brother.
I'm trying to enjoy my food.
Well, we got a XXX habanero. That's our highest. But then we have Caribbean. Our best seller right now, I don't even have it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Is our Heat and Honey brand, right?
Oh, that sounds good.
Oh, yeah, I need that one.
Yeah, that's
I need
our
that
best
one.
seller there. But, so my physical products brands, I also, I don't know, I didn't think I told Barrett this. Now, I'm a bald-headed black dude, right? And so I don't know a damn thing about flat irons, right?
Yeah.
So flat iron, all right, I know Dom and Trent know what flat irons
Correct.
I got to make sure Barrett and Brock know.
Now, I don't know if they know what hot combs are.
Hey,
you know what I mean? They might not know what a hot comb is.
My wife's a hairstylist. I know.
Oh, okay. You know what a hot comb is?
I grew up in Decatur, so.
Oh, yeah. They're in the culture.
So let me tell you guys this quick story. So one of my biggest breakthroughs after I almost lost it all, lost it all the second time, it was my mortgage business. And when 2008 hit, everything, everything got shut down. So I was making crazy money in the mortgage business. Money, everything went down. I had 50 plus employees, and I had 2 of my business partners and myself owned the business. We were putting money back in, thinking things were going to turn around. And basically, I damn near ran out of money. So it's my wife, myself, and my 2 daughters. And I'm laying on the couch figuring, looking up one night at the ceiling. It's like, how am I going to keep my cars, my house from getting repoed, all of that stuff. So it was crazy. So I took a couple of BS jobs in between just to, put some money on the table.
Correct.
And had to think of a comeback. So one day my wife was in the bathroom and she was, her flat iron broke. So she was getting ready to, do her hair, straighten her hair. And she was like, damn, I got to go to the mall and get a flat iron. And I just, out of curiosity, I asked her, I said, well, how much do flat irons cost? And she said, well, a good one is anywhere from $150 to $200.
Goodness. Yep.
I said, for this bullshit? You know what I'm saying? And she said, yeah, it's got to have ceramic plates. It's got to have high heat. It's got to have this. It's got to have that. So the first thing I'm thinking about, I know good and well that this product probably costs, pennies on the dollar. So anyway, I go to Alibaba and I get 3 samples for different flat irons that look like the one my wife used. So I got them in and I let my wife and my daughters use them for about 6 weeks. I wasn't pressed to do anything. And I came back and they all liked this one manufacturer. So I didn't know what I was doing. But what I did was I trademarked the brand name. I created a packaging with a magnetic closure box, a high-end looking packaging.
Correct.
And I ordered 150 from the manufacturer. Now I spent money for trademarks and all of this. I did it backwards, but it did work out. So when they came in, I started putting them on Amazon. Now, the flat irons cost, with my logo, with my packaging, $10.78 per unit, shipped from China to my house. I'm selling them online on Amazon for $129. So you see the margins.
Yeah.
So from June of that year to December 31st, I grossed $272,000 at a 70% profit margin.
So did
on some shit that I knew absolutely nothing about, but it was the way I positioned the flat iron, professional salon grade tool. The packaging, everything looked good. So it's all about the positioning.
So
that's what got me into creating different brands. Like hot sauce brand. I got another 2 flat iron brands. That's my high end brand. I got another one. I have hair serum that goes with it. Thermal protector, hair serum. Yeah. So yeah. And all of that. And the hair serum you can even use as a beard oil. So I'm about to repackage that as a beard oil.
Okay.
Same exact thing. Different name, same thing.
So when you oh my bad.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So when you started the flat iron and all of these things, like how were you running ads, like doing Google SEO and stuff like that, or?
Well, see, on Amazon, and I took some of my stuff off of Amazon. Amazon is a blessing and a curse. So with Amazon, if you sell on Amazon, because there's so many products, there's what's called Amazon pay-per-click. So it's basically the internal Amazon, like Google ads.
Okay.
So when I started running my flat irons, what I did was, because most people buy stuff that has 4 or 5 star reviews.
Right.
So I had people, I gave them samples, go online, give me a review, So I got, probably about 25 star reviews. And then I started running pay-per-click advertising to the listing. Now remember, I got a ton of margin, right?
You're good. You're good.
So 1078, 129.
Yeah.
So I got about $120 that I can play with. So if it costs me $20 to get a sale, so all in on $30, I'm still making 129 minus 30. I'm still making $99.
Correct.
So when you sell a physical product that's competitive, you have to have the money that's going to allow you to be able to advertise and market that product.
Okay.
And the problem with a lot of products that don't have a lot of margin is they don't have the money to advertise it, because sometimes you're going to be spending more than you're going to make on the product.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I've done that.
But that's how I got started in the products, and then I just started creating my own brands after that and selling them on my website and also on Amazon. So.
Okay, I got a little bit of experience with the with selling products. I actually there's it's an isolation foam that you can put on mics for engineers and people that record themselves.
Damn.
Yeah, I made a generic version of it. You know what I'm saying?
Should have went to Alibaba.
And I sold I sold a few on Amazon. The rest of them I sold locally. But my first time doing it, I only bought 50, but I was able to sell all of them. I just sold the very last one today.
Oh, cool.
I bought one. I use it at home.
Yeah. What type of margins you got on? Like, what does it cost and what you sell?
I may not want to hear this.
It's not for you to hear, sir.
So one cost me about $10 to make, and I was selling them for 50. I was selling them for 50.
See, that's good, bro.
So I was stuck. The reason why I didn't put all of them on Amazon was because I didn't know how to advertise it the right way to have people buy them off of Amazon. But you say there's something called Amazon pay per click.
Yep. Yeah. So if you go into your Seller Central back office, they have tutorials on there. And if you need anything, I'm gonna put this out to all you guys. If there's something that I can help you with, and Barrett has my info, just reach out to me.
Okay.
You know,
it was getting overwhelming. That's why I haven't got any more yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
So just reach out, man. You know, we'll chop it up and I'll show you everything that I know, man.
This is Eli Bosnick, and you're listening to the All About Nothing podcast.
Now, as far as just in general, you know, with your business failing, like mentally, I know you were sitting back thinking about how you're gonna take care of your family and stuff. But what was it that made you so strong in that moment to just not give up completely, like a lot of people do?
Well, that was the second time that it almost happened. So I was well prepared.
Okay.
And I'll and I'll share the first time.
Okay.
So the first time, what happened was I had just gone out of corporate America, and I just want to preface this, so I'll answer that for you, Trent.
Okay.
I left corporate America, and my wife and I had our third child, my son. And so my son was diagnosed with brain cancer at 6 months old.
Wow.
Right. And so we lost him when he was 17 months old. So he battled, you know, for 11 months after that. So he was our youngest. So then my two daughters. And so what happened was I had just left corporate America. I started a event marketing business. I was doing like baby expos, trade shows and stuff. Yeah. And once we got the news, my wife had to stay home. She was a teacher. And she had all the benefits. She had the consistent salary, you know, and everything. And because she couldn't go back to work, I was on Cobra. Cobra costs crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then my money was up and down. And so in addition to battling the financial, you know, stuff we were going through, now we're fighting for life with my son.
Yeah.
And so after my last expo I was doing, I did a baby and children's expo sponsored by Babies R Us, and went well, but I was mentally fried from the stress and, you know, dealing with my son and everything. Yeah. And shortly after that, he passed away. And I had no business. I had no income. My wife wasn't going back to work right away. So I was jacked up.
Yeah.
And so the thing that got me through that and the second time was my faith, because I knew that I couldn't do it on my own.
Yeah. Correct.
You know, Jay Jones, I can't handle that. I'm a pretty powerful, pretty strong dude, but I can't do that on my own. And in addition to that, guys, when my wife and her family come from a line of educators, right? And so the only way you get kicked out of education is if you molesting kids or doing something stupid, right?
Sure.
So that job is always going to be there. I've always had the entrepreneurial mindset. And so we kind of bumped heads. Yo, how come your business isn't taking off right away? Because it don't work like that. All right. And so there was friction in the household. Yeah. And so in addition to not having money, dealing with my son, his health, and then my wife in my ear, you know, bitching and complaining.
Correct.
And I get it because she's not built like I am. The only thing I could really count on was God, and that's and regardless of whoever your your God force is, or if you have one or don't have one,
Correct.
that's who I leaned on because I knew the way I'm built, I'm going to be able to get through this.
Yeah.
So when I see things, I don't look at them face value because I trust myself and I believe in myself, and I'm looking down the road. My wife could only see what she saw right here.
Yeah.
When I can see down the road, we're going to get through this just like we're going to get through something else. So the second time it happened, Trent, not that it was easy, but I knew, hey, I did it once, I'll be able to do it again.
And what you just telling me by losing a son, I mean, my son's 4, he just left out of here. I can only imagine what that pain
What's
felt
worse
like.
than that?
Yeah.
Nothing.
You
no
can't
worse.
do nothing else to me worse than that.
Nope.
Right.
So
Yeah, I got a 2-year-old.
So
That's the worst fear you could possibly have.
Yeah, man. So, and so one of the things that I always preach to my coaching students and even, my daughters in general, life is short. So I always wanted to have passive income so I could spend time with my wife and my daughters as they grew. Because, one of the blessings that people didn't understand was that when I had that business, when my son was sick, I was able to stay at the hospital overnight with him.
Oh, wow.
I didn't have to check in work. I didn't have the money, but guess what? I had the time.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's what
And
matters.
so that was much more important to me than working at somebody's 9 to 5 and all of that. So I would have traded, any day of the week, man. So, so I'm super big on living in your genius, your passion, and having your business work for you so you can do the things and focus on the things that are important to you. And so if you're making money and you're not enjoying what you're doing and you're not spending time with the ones you love, what the hell are you doing it for?
Yeah.
And that's something I struggle with now. Like the number one thing I want to do all the time is be with my family, be with my wife and daughter. And then when you have to go to work and it just kills you, you're going like, damn, that's not even something I love to do.
I recently read something. Go ahead,
Don.
The difference between rich and wealth. And rich is like having the money, and wealth is like how long can you go without working? Like how long can you afford
That's
to,
it.
you know what I'm saying?
That's
Because
for sure.
your time is more valuable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, here's a story real quick. So my daughters, they're older now. They're 27 and 24. And but when they were in high school, they're 3 years apart. They used to play, they were good in school, play all kind of sports, field hockey, swimming, soccer, and field hockey was their thing, right? And so when my oldest daughter was a senior, my youngest was a freshman. From that period of time, that's when my Flatiron business took off, my product brands. I had never missed a home game, an away game, a summer league game, the AAU games, or any of that stuff for 4 years straight. And their friends used to ask, damn, does your dad work? And I'd be like, yeah, he works. But I built my business around my life, not my life around my business.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And that's the key when you want to have money coming in, but you want to be able to enjoy it. And so with the loss of my son, I was always a family man anyway.
Yeah.
But with the loss of my son, that just heightened my sensitivities to that. So I pray that, Brock, anybody who's trying to get to that point, that you get there, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're trying to get this podcast successful. Because when I am away from my family, if this is what I'm doing, I'm being, I'm being me.
Yeah. You're happier doing
exactly
this compared to working.
Exactly. And it, if it does get big enough, which is what we're striving for.
When it does get big enough. Gotta say that.
It.
When it gets big enough, it is passive income because people are going to listen. You're going to have it. But it also, when I take that time out of my day away from my family, it is something that you're passionate about. And hopefully time will tell if it's my genius. Yeah. So,
correct.
So, other than like investing, selling your businesses and all of that, are you into like other things like I said investing, but that's what I call it. Are you into investing?
Talking about like stocks and stuff, or what you talking about?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways to invest.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, are you like?
Well, really, right now, it's more the real estate. That's my
You're
focus.
investing that way.
Yeah, you know, that's pretty much because now I'm back in the mortgage business, and that just my eyes now on deals. I've flipped houses. I've built modulars before with my cousin, like one-off projects. But the goal is really to create a development company. That's something that I'm working on right now. To be able to start developing, and especially you guys are in Columbia, so I got a lot of family in Charleston, Moncks Corner, Sumter, Columbia, Orangeburg, all of that stuff.
The Chuck.
And and one of the things I was trying to create or build a modular home in Philadelphia, and one of the biggest issues that I got into, guys, was the zoning. It's like, I mean, it's so, you got to have curb cuts. You got to be this far back from it. Yeah. So where my grandmother lives in St. Stephen, South Carolina, there's a whole bunch of land. All you need, get your well, hook up the electricity, drop some modulars down. So that's my plan. Me, my cousin and I, we're going to start, doing modular building.
Okay.
And it's easier because I don't have to deal with all the city regulations and red tape, especially up here. It's crazy, man.
Correct.
But that's really where my focus is in real estate, and also just throwing off cash from my businesses right now. But I want to focus more on real estate as we move forward.
So what you're telling me is you're going to be in town.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
So let us know if you need help, man.
Yeah.
We here for it.
Hold on. I literally asked Trent to come over and help me move dirt yesterday. You're gonna.
That's a modular home, sir. That's a little different.
My brother and his wife is trying to get a modular home put on some property that my family gave them.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's $1, cost per square foot. You don't have to worry about the weather when they're building, versus building inside.
Correct.
And the way I got put onto it, man, one of my friends, his father, sold his company to Waste Management. He had his own sanitation business, and he started a building. Any of you guys boxing fans?
Yeah.
I used to box.
Slightly.
I used to box.
Watch that fight last week.
When you say sanitation, you don't mean like wise guy sanitation.
Did you have your money on the wrong? Did you have your money on the wrong person?
You're close enough to Jersey.
I didn't bet. Yeah, I didn't bet, but my buddy is Italian, so I don't know if he was.
There
in the
it is.
There it is. Well, yeah, that's it. He's in there.
Who's gonna win this one?
Wise guys.
But what's funny is, Muhammad Ali used to train at a place called Deer Lake, Pennsylvania.
Right
up in the mountains. So, and if you ever go there, the cabins are tiny. You look on, online and you watch videos, you think they're tiny. But anyway. He built like 2 developments up near Deer Lake, Pennsylvania, all modulars. So his son and I are good friends. So he invited me up because I was talking about modular building, and his house is like a 10,000 square foot home, and it's a modular built home, but you would never know it. I mean, the construction, everything, man. So that's what kind of got me into the modulars. I'm like, damn, I said, it's not a mobile home. It's a modular. It's just built in sections.
Yeah, I grew up in a modular home.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about like a lot of people taking those containers that they use for shipping and turning those into homes, and they're like,
I don't know how much I trust it. They do look cool when they're done.
They
but
look
at the end of the day,
very nice.
you're like, it's a Connex.
I mean, some good like Airbnb.
Yeah, but you're talking about something that's structurally. I mean, they stack these things, 6 to 10 high, and then they ship them across the ocean. I mean, I see
Fair
them cut it out. They cut out sections and whatnot, and I get that changes the structure.
And they don't just sit them there, man. They're like putting the whole foundation.
Oh yeah.
You guys heard of Boxable?
Yeah.
So Boxable, that's something that
unfolding a house.
I think that's going to revolutionize the home industry, especially out in like places in California where land and stuff is crazy.
Correct.
Yeah, and then they're 3D printing homes now too.
Yeah, Zach, you might as well do that.
It's
with
a big
yours.
printer.
Dude, my
It's
printer's
huge.
like this.
It does concrete.
Yeah,
it prints concrete.
It just literally sit it out there and it just goes around.
Man, there's about
but your house looks
all
like a
of
hot
the simple
pile.
jobs are like leaving.
Yeah.
Well, we was talking about that last week too, because it's like schools because you were saying like it's still kind of like it is some trades in high school still, but they don't really teach like woodworking like they used to. They don't teach really like auto like in high school unless you like go to a certain high school that has that. And you know what I'm saying? Those are like very important jobs, like plumbing and woodwork. Like it's always going to be a job.
I'm assuming, like Jay, you're about my age. And
I'm old, dude.
No, I'm old too.
I'm in my mid 50s, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, you look good for your
Barrett's
65.
65.
He's 65 in real life, huh?
So, when I was in high school, home economics was a class that we took.
Oh,
and
exactly.
And it wasn't just a class. You know, it wasn't like what people think of
just
home
women,
economics. Yeah, it wasn't just women. Everyone was required to take home economics, but they taught you budgeting. They taught you how to grocery shop, how to take care of things like that. It wasn't just baking and sewing. Yeah, but I'll be honest, baking and sewing was just as important as how to balance a checkbook.
Correct.
I mean, but that was stuff that we learned in home economics, and I don't see that at all anymore. I don't know if it's still taught.
No, you get economics, which is a way too high level overview of how the economy works.
It's stuff where we don't even use.
You're like, dude, what? I ain't doing any of that.
Like I've never used E = MC squared. Ever in my life.
It's not economic.
Whatever, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying in general.
Do you want me to explain to you the theory of relativity?
I mean, you don't have to do that, but what I'm just saying, things you don't use.
Physicist.
Things you don't use.
Well, so Jay,
I just want to add
to
that comment real quick. You know, that's even more of a reason why people need to have multiple streams of income and be able to have something, even if you have a corporate job, have something on the side. Because those skills that you were talking about, Trent, they don't teach them anymore.
Correct.
And it's like, man, you need plumbers, you need pipe fitters, you need welders, you need all of that stuff, you know. But now we're shipping everything out, you know, overseas. But there's still viable, you know, money to make in those trades, man. And I'm telling you, if you're not on top of you know, of what's going on, you know, AI and all of that stuff, you know, unless you believe what Trump said, and he's bringing the coal industry back, so you might want to, you know, investigate that. I'm joking.
Definitely not, man. I seen a crazy picture of a horse that was down there with the coal miners.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
was like, what? They had horses down there in the coal mine?
Not for long.
Yeah, facts.
Well, I wanted to get into the part of the Black entrepreneur part. So a lot of your focus, as far as your podcast goes, is building up Black owned businesses. Right. What was and obviously being an African American in the United States, it's clear, you know, that's part of your passion. But what was the motivation to try and push that specifically?
Well, I look at the socioeconomic condition that Black folk are in when it comes to the racial wealth gap. And, you know, I gave some numbers when I did that Juneteenth presentation. And one of the things was, a lot of people don't know, when I started the podcast, it actually was on terrestrial radio.
Oh.
But at the time, the show was called The Entrepreneur Advantage. I was on a station that was a predominantly white-based station. And I told the manager, I said, you know, I want to kind of narrow the scope down because I'm Black, I'm an entrepreneur, and there's certain intrinsic things that we go through that other groups may not go through.
Yeah. Right.
And he said, nah, we're not going to do that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do internet radio, which they call podcasting at the time.
Right.
And that's when I broke off and I narrowed it down to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. And the whole focus was basically being able to help my community, you know, launch, build, and grow businesses, and in turn circulate dollars in the community and help build wealth and close that racial wealth gap. So that was the impetus behind the podcast, you know, sharing my experiences so others don't necessarily have to go through, you know, the things I have.
Yeah. And I you know, I think this goes without saying, at least for us here at the table, but people listening, you know, that Black owned businesses don't get the support in communities that they need to, especially, you know, Columbia, South Carolina's, we have a pretty decent Black population, you'd say, right?
Correct. But even with you saying that, like, a lot of Black people don't support Black businesses.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing that really, I'm not saying it really irks my nerves, because maybe they had a bad experience, and sometimes that tears people away from supporting their own. But I don't feel like if you have one bad experience at one place, you should take it out on all black businesses.
Agreed.
Just give everybody a chance, but like that's real big. A lot of people don't support black businesses,
I
and
want
it's
to hear what
crazy.
he about to say.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I did a post, my episode 474 or 475. Why blacks buy from other ethnicities and no other ethnicities buy from blacks. I put out a post on Instagram, and you should have heard some of the shit that was coming back.
Oh, what?
And to your point, Trent, even from a lot of black folk, oh, the products aren't as good. What are you talking about? The prices are too high.
Yep.
This, that, and the other thing. And I always tell people, I said, are you going to critique other businesses the same way you can critique a black-owned business?
Right.
Never.
That's my first question. Now, I got a lot of racist shit. Oh, black people, you have businesses. All I thought you did was steal. You know,
Wow.
yo, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
I had to shut the comments off because after 2 weeks, I'm cussing fools out almost.
Yeah, reading the comments get you in trouble.
Yeah, but the thing is, man, it's when you don't understand why sometimes black-owned businesses prices might be higher. And a real life example is like in Philly, there's a barbershop on every corner, damn it, right? Yeah. So instead of forming a cooperative where they're buying their supplies together, man, I'm buying my own stuff. So now you buy 10 units versus 100 units, your price is going to be higher. Same thing with corner stores. So I know in Chinatown in Philly, there's a Chinese cooperative that buys in bulk from Chinese manufacturers and suppliers. So when they buy in bulk and you got a black store here and an Asian store here on the corner, the black guy may sell wrap snacks for 10 cents more than the Asian store because his cost basis is higher. And so I had to explain to people, it's not necessarily that the brother's trying to get you. He's still got to make a profit. And I have a Chinese friend from college. I just want to say this and I'll let y'all chime in. From college, and he told me years ago, and his father was loaded. He was an importer, exporter. He said, if there's a Chinese store here and a regular grocery store here, he said, my family's going to the Chinese store. I don't care if they're 10, 20% higher. We're supporting that business. And what people don't understand is when you support a business, or say a specifically black-owned business, and that business grows, what do you have to do? Most times, if you continue to get support, you're going to have to expand.
Right.
Now, who are you going to hire? Most statistics show that most people hire people that they're comfortable with, people that look like them. So you go into the Asian chicken wing store, who do you see working there? You go into the Indian 7-Eleven store, who do you see working there?
Correct.
People that look like them that they're comfortable with, and there's nothing wrong with that. So when I say support black-owned businesses, what this is going to hopefully allow these businesses to do is grow and hire more people. In my mortgage business, I hired loan officers that wouldn't have got a look at some of these other companies. People that were doing collections now making mid 6 figures.
Wow.
And so that's the importance of hiring or supporting black-owned businesses. And it's not just in a geographic area, okay? It's just like not in this neighborhood. Yeah, that's great. But now commerce is worldwide. So e-commerce businesses, everybody uses this, right? You on this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Go and find a black-owned business and support that. Go buy black-owned toothbrushes or toothpaste, whatever.
Yep.
There's stuff out there. And that's the importance of black-owned businesses because every other ethnicity does that. Asians do it. The Jewish community does it. The Indian community does it. Everybody does it. And I wish it was to a point where people didn't think about black-owned business, white-owned, Jewish. But you got to take care of yourself. What do they say? Charity starts where? At home, right?
Yep.
So you got to start at your home. You got to get strong so you can help other people. And that's what it's all about. It's not, I don't love everybody else, but hey, I know if I can help my community, that's going to make it better, not just for me, but for my community and others to be competitive.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
So in your
y'all need to snip that and put that shit up.
Oh yeah,
we got you. We got you.
100%.
You ain't even gotta say it. I was gonna tell Bear that.
So, in your experience, what are some key traits or habits of successful Black entrepreneur businesses? How they've done things, not necessarily just you, but how you've seen those businesses progress.
I think some of the traits, number one, in general, in any business, you need a good product or service. You need to have a demand. And I think the other thing is some type of connection. So I was doing some research for that episode I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that 69 to 70% of Black consumers like to support Black brands that have an objective or that has something to do with the community. So their community, you know how, what's the shoe guy that gives away extra shoes when you buy a pair of shoes? What's this guy's?
Well, I know the sock, the Bombas socks.
Does it.
Yeah.
And there's another shoe company that you buy a pair, then they give away.
Is it Vans?
Like that.
Oh,
Not Vans.
Tom's.
Yeah. So when you have something that's connected to the community, I did another episode that was titled "What the Black Community Could Learn from the Jewish Community," and here's my point: in the Jewish community, they're connected by their faith. And when I interviewed this Jewish brother, he was telling me, he said 10% of our revenues or proceeds we use for the community, not the church per se, but for the betterment of the community. Community centers, helping out schools, whatever it is. And so I think it's true pretty much across the board, Black people included. If you're selling a product or service, or you have a business and it's connected to something greater than the business, then we're going to support it. And I think that's something that's key, not just, you got to have a good product or service, but I think that's key right there, Barrett.
Outreach and
that makes a lot of sense.
Connectivity, it's a connection.
And I think one of the crazy things is when you mentioned like the Jewish community and how they give back, and even previous to that, you were talking about how you see the Asian community usually reaches out or takes care of the Asian community.
Yeah.
But when you see that, I feel like this is probably true, but when you see something like that from outside of the Black community, I think sometimes people look at that and they go, well, they're just this is just something they're doing for themselves. They're not, and I say that as a very, very white man, because that's my perspective. But I've never been of the mentality that this service is going to be better than this service because they're white or that they're Hispanic or whatever. Yeah. And I
wish everybody was like you.
No, you don't. I have quirks.
Like we said, Barrett hates a lot for no reason.
Yeah. I mentioned
he got a nice hate list over here.
Look, I don't hate Jonah Hill.
Oh, see, I didn't even say his name.
I just don't think he's a great actor.
Okay, all right.
But I
sounds a lot like him.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, Jonah Hill can call me and we'll discuss.
Get him on the pod.
I'll give him some ideas.
He'll send you some of those texts.
But
he sent his girlfriend.
Yeah.
but ultimately, I think that regardless of race, I find that even in growing up, that a lot of the things that we did as kids when I grew up was around a lot of the Black community, especially like in Decatur and things like that. It was there. I can think back to cookouts and things like that. Just but even where even in Decatur now, it's become so it's grown up now to the point where it's the same thing that's happening in a lot of places, that the Black community is being pushed out because people are they're coming in and buying the properties, flipping them, and selling them to whites, and it's gentrification. Yeah, gentrification.
It's literally happened right in front of us, like as you pass downtown, like where the colonies used to be at. Or, like where the like right across from the Richland Hospital in the corner.
Yeah,
where they got those new houses development now, and it's like that all used to be the hood. Like it used to be apartments. Like know what I'm saying. and they had to move all those people out. So they were making it seem like, okay, we're moving all these people out because of safety reasons. And then you come put these nice ass houses on top of it. You're like, hold on, this is not for safety.
Yeah. Not only that.
Chapin did a double over there. Like, I'm white going through like.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, the cost of living got to be ridiculous there now because of all the stuff they added and did. And like, there's a lot of like big houses near where I grew up.
Yeah,
so you know
that's only helping your house move. Move up.
Yeah,
for my parents, but I'm talking about like for everybody else that's like, you know what I'm saying, trying to afford to live there.
They got a chop house out there now. I'm like, I guess I ain't ever gonna eat.
They're about to do another one. They're about to do a smokehouse now.
Chop house. We're talking about the steak place, right?
Yeah. It's in Chapin.
Bougie dessert restaurant too.
Amazed.
Can I add to that real quick, guys?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I did another episode probably about 6 months back, to be or not to be a black-owned business. And when I talked about my flat iron business, you notice I didn't mention the name, right?
Right.
And I didn't do that on purpose, right? Because sometimes the perception, oh, this is a bald-headed dude selling flat irons. What the hell does he know about that? But then, so on my box, on one side is a picture of a white girl, the other side is a picture of a black girl on the box, and I'm behind the brand. I don't want to be known as the owner of the brand.
Sure,
smart.
I actually had BBC, British Broadcasting Company, contacted me to do an interview with me because they were writing an article about black-owned businesses. This was about a year and a half ago, and they asked me why did I have the title that I did on that podcast episode. That's how they found me. And I said, because exactly what we were talking about, some people think black-owned businesses are inferior. Yeah. And so I talk about indestructible income. That was another one of my podcasts. So if you don't know what I have, you can't screw it up.
Yeah.
Correct. So when it comes to a product-based business, there's a lot of sabotage out there. So I've seen businesses that would put bad reviews on Amazon from their competitors.
Sure.
Buy the product, put bad reviews. And so now you get under 4 stars, your thing is going like this. So I keep a lot of my stuff, it's indestructible income. If you don't know what I got, you can't, excuse the French, you can't fuck with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So,
exactly. So I'm gonna tell you, like what you just said is key example why a lot of times because I DJ part-time. So, basically full-time, because it's the most money that I make. But I don't like for people to put my name on flyers that I do or my picture on flyers, because I know a lot of people just hate off of, oh, he's the DJ at that party, now I'm not going to go to that party. I'd rather you not put my picture on the flyer and me just show up and DJ, and then they asking who's the DJ, compared to people not showing up at places just because they know I'm DJing.
It's not a DJ of their choice or something.
Yeah, not a DJ of their choice.
Kind of like you don't want them to judge the book by the cover until they hear your music. Now.
Correct. So you just basing it off of
Oh, DJ Alonzo? Hell yeah.
Well, I don't know him like that, so I'm not gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, if they look you up, your name's Trent Clark. Yeah. Sounds like a white guy.
My mom was smart. She wanted me to get hired. My mom was smart. She wanted me to get hired, so it worked.
So, Jay, one of the last things I want to talk to you about, and with you on the show was, did we talk about reparations at all in any of our conversations?
No, we didn't talk about it.
Well, so one of the things that I feel like is important is, with slavery in the United States, I absolutely believe that reparations for anyone who is the descendant of a slave is absolutely imperative, and not because I think we should just hand out money, but because I think there's a debt to be paid for the injustices and the heinous act that the federal government of the United States for more than 100 years supported. And, first of all, I wanted to get you guys' opinion on that.
Yeah, well, so I'm going to go ahead and give you so you said descendants of slaves. It's going to be hard, kind of, to find that out now, because with all I don't want to say it's been a lot of fucking going on. Yeah, for you to find out what slave you got for me to go back to is going to be kind of hard. You know what I mean? I mean, my grandma would probably be a little bit easier because I'll be able to find her mother. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like my grandma and my mother both picked cotton.
Yeah.
But not to the point where my mother picked cotton for a slave person, but it was just, that's what she did in South Carolina. Like that was her income.
Yeah.
But my grandma for sure was not a slave, but was probably the closest to her mother, which technically is not a slave either, but
was she being paid the value of the service she was providing?
And that's what I think. She was not being paid. You get what I'm saying? But what she deserved back in the day.
But there are definitely ways of being, through genealogy and things like that. You can't. Well, I guess I'm saying this as a white person. I know you can track your genealogy back, because we've tracked my genealogy all the way back to like the 1200s.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. Your family. Last name, a lot of black people's last name were changed because of who their slave master was.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you'll never really know what a lot of black people, like all these black people by the last name of Johnson. It's a lot of Johnsons.
I know.
It's a lot of Johnsons, dog. Yeah. So I don't know if that slave master was everywhere, but
Master Johnson had a lot of slaves.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
He had a lot of land.
The Smiths.
The Smiths.
Well, that's Jackson. Jackson was a slave
Ranch.
name because Andrew Jackson owned a lot of slaves.
Yeah. So,
but
I just think it's just a little. It's gonna be hard. I just think if anything, I don't think it should just be slave descendant. I think anybody that's got any percentage of black in them, give them reparation.
So then that gets into
by the percentage.
That gets in
by the percentage.
So, but that ultimately gets into the idea of how do you provide reparations? It's not, because I know that there is no way in this country that, especially as predominantly white as it is, that you're going to find a majority of people willing to do that. So basically, this is and I'm not campaigning or anything right now.
It sounds like it, but you're good.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you.
But my idea basically is that no federal taxes on individuals who, in this case, are descendants of slaves. And let's say hypothetically we can prove descendancy.
Okay.
So no federal taxes on individuals and no federal taxes on small businesses.
Okay.
So obviously up to a certain point as far as value and such, but obviously also like an oil tycoon, regardless of that they reach a certain echelon of income, then they would pay taxes. Yeah. United States does not tax income on Native Americans and tribal reservations in general. They are generally exempt from federal income tax if it comes from activities conducted within the reservation and related to the use of tribal services. This includes income from sources such as tribal businesses, farming, fishing, reservation lands.
And casinos.
Casinos is correct, yes.
So with that number that you were saying, like, why, like, because I know casinos bring in a lot of money. So you're saying that, like, the casinos, like, that they own haven't reached a point where they should be taxed?
Native Americans, from what I understand, on tribal lands, they don't pay taxes, even a casino.
Wow.
And I could have that incorrect. So basically, I'm asking the three of you, is in that scenario, because just handing out a sum of money for the value of what your ancestors had to go through, if that is not available, is the potential of having no federal income tax or no federal sale, or no having to pay no sales tax on products sold, is that something that could potentially sway?
It could work.
Or 30 acres and a mule.
No.
They ain't making that much land.
And then land is way too much.
You get some of that mule just gonna be like, I live in an apartment.
You have to start taking people land.
But at the same time, see, I think it's gonna be like a slap in the face, because the $1,200 COVID checks, right? That was technically a slap in the face to all of America. Like, here, take this money. This should get you through.
Stretch it out the next 19 months.
So what is going to be that lump sum of money that they're going to give us that everybody's going to be happy with, where they don't feel like, okay, what my ancestors did is only worth $5,000 or $7,000. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, now you're looking at
you're putting a price on something that's
priceless.
Yeah,
like a lot of hours worked for pennies on a dollar. You know what I'm saying?
I think the tax thing like is a lot. It sounds better than just giving people money because people don't know how to spend money responsibly.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then also if you're talking about taxes, so the reason that taxes, in my opinion, could work at least financially from an economic standpoint of the United States, our government doesn't deal in real money anyway. We're talking an income for our federal government in the trillions of dollars, and they're always spending more than that anyway. Yep. So they don't deal with real money anyway. So if you were to take and honestly, African American population in the United States still only makes up 13 to 15% of the population. So and of that population, you have to take out another 6 or you have to take out another 15 to 20% of that population because they're under the age of 18, so they're not paying taxes. Mm-hmm. I just think that would be potentially something that we could that as an American say, look, what we did was really fucked up, and the fact that our government went along with it for as long as they did because they were seeing the benefits of it and they were literally participating in it. You know, I in my opinion, I think that it's long past time that there be something done to benefit those, even though it doesn't necessarily, but you still see the effects of slavery now.
Yeah, because they still technically do it. They do it with weed now.
Well, no, not only that, it's
with wage slavery.
Our corporate,
but I'm just saying, like, you get pulled over with like less than 28 grams, it's $650 charge. Like, it's worse. Why is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point?
Don't air your personal grievances on.
I'm just saying, like, what's really the point?
I wasn't gonna say nothing. It's a real personal.
I mean, look, man, I'm just saying, like, but that's literally what we're getting into because if you think about it, them charging you $650. It's
very specific.
What is that money going towards? It's not going towards no. It's not going to the roads.
No. So,
and hypothetically, they take the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take the rest of the weed. They don't even let you keep it.
Hold on.
Giveaway.
We're off track.
No. But yeah. Let's get what Jay thinks. Let's listen to what Jay thinks.
Yeah.
Man. Jay, what do you think about this, man?
Well, number one, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
The backlash that it would cause. Right now, we're in a tenuous situation right now. We got 2024 coming up. And one of the things is I tell people all the time, don't wait on somebody else for going to help you.
Yeah.
You know, if it comes, that's great. You know, if I had to put a wager on it, damn near impossible for it to happen. Yeah. There's so many forces and devices against it, and the backlash that would come from it. I don't think it's going to happen. I wish it was, but as you said, Barrett, how do you determine, who's owed what? So that's very tricky too. Yeah. And I think the United States would just say, you know what, we've been screwing you guys over for 400 plus years, add this one to the stack.
At the moment, they're not even willing to recognize today's racism. They're much less like, that was bad enough to do something.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly. So
I'm definitely of the belief that the only way that we can promote change is through normalization, and by normalization, you have to throw spaghetti against the wall until something sticks. But just it's constantly just pushing ideas out there on. If we can't get direct reparations, if you can't get direct reparations,
we understand what you're saying, Barrett.
Then let's find a different solution. But there still has, other countries all over the world, even the Dutch, they've done reparations in some manner for their participation as slaves. Even in Africa, literally the people that were descendants of the tribes that actually actively actively captured and sold the slaves to the Dutch and the English, like they have actually gone back and taken care of the families of people that are still native, that they sold their family members away.
Wow.
So it's happening all over the world. It's kind of like universal health care. If we don't talk about it, then there's ultimately never going to be any change. We're going to just keep following the same status quo until it just has to be talked about. We need Bernie Sanders just to keep banging his drum.
Bernie,
Exactly.
we got to feel the burn, man.
Well, I don't know that I had anything else I was gonna ask about.
It's been great.
Yeah, Jay, do me a favor.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Please throw out everything as far as everything that you can promote, because absolutely we want to support you just as much as you've said you want to support us.
And all our girls would take one of those hot combs, man. For sure.
I got a lot of them. So Barrett has my info, so you guys reach out to me, and I'll send you some hot sauce, whatever you guys need. So
Yes, sir.
Take care. Hot sauce, combs, and all that. But
I'm looking for some
best
mentorship.
Yeah. I do that all the time.
Okay.
So the best way to connect with me, guys, go to my website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. BlackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. If you're lazy, just type in BEBconnect.com. It's going to take you to the same place. So there you'll see all my online courses, my whole ecosystem, my books, my online courses, everything Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. My biggest social media is probably my Instagram. So you guys, if you want to connect, go to J Jones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4 REAL, or Black Entrepreneur Blueprint on Instagram. But that's really how you can connect with me. The website has everything, my social media and all that on there too.
Yeah, and I'm going to include everything in the show notes too. So if you're listening right now and you want to check out more information, just go into the show notes. The links are all there. So Jay, thank you very much, much.
Thank you, Jay,
for being on the program with us. Absolute
I
pleasure.
want to thank you guys too. Your platform, I just want to say this. Keep pushing, guys. Keep being consistent with your show. And you're not going to make money overnight, but the consistency is the key with your show. And so I salute you guys. Looks like you got a great brotherhood there. I've listened to a couple of the episodes.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. And you're talking about good stuff. You know. Now I'm not the last episode. What were y'all Dungeons and Dragons? I'm not into that.
Yeah, man. I tried to tell you. See how I missed that. You see how I missed that episode, ain't it, Jay?
He was invited. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I missed it.
But keep plugging, and I appreciate you guys for having me on your platform. Anything I can do for your audience or yourselves, please reach out to me, and I'm here for you.
Absolutely.
All right, we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank
you, Jay.
All right, Jay. Thank you very much. Again, it's Jay Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Again, links in the episode notes here. And I guess that's gonna wrap it up for us.
Yeah, man. That's a great episode, man.
Great episode.
So I'll just close us out. That's gonna do it. Episode number 167. Thank you, Zach King. Thank you, Trent Clark. Thank you, Nique the Geek. Thank you, Jay Jones, as well. Links to all of our past episodes, podcast platform, merchandise, and social media available on our website, theallaboutnothing.com. If you think our financial model of giving away free content and entertainment is silly and you're in the giving mood, why not become an official Nothinger and support the show? Visit theallaboutnothing.com and click on the support link near the top of the page. You can subscribe monthly at a varying level of membership tiers and click on the tips link if you want to just give us a one-time donation. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can join our Discord channel by clicking on the banner at the top of our webpage. Also, please subscribe to the show, likes, and follow us. Help us on Facebook and Twitter, and share with your family and friends. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You all stay safe and
have a week.
The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber, and recorded from the podcast studio at G.O.T Sound Studio in Lexington, South Carolina. G.O.T Sound Studio is owned and operated by Nique the Geek. Visit GOTSoundstudio.com for details on studio rental, production, and engineering. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow everything Cake the band at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff the producer for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the Producer. Thanks to Trent Clark, aka DJ Lonzo. Join him weekly at the venue in Columbia, South Carolina for the Saturday All-Star Drag Brunch and Sundays at the Review Drag Brunch. You can also contact Trent for all your entertainment needs. Trent at theallaboutnothing.com and on Instagram, TheRealDJLonzo. You can also phone him, 803-262-7982. Thanks to Zach King. You can follow him on Instagram at KingZach07 and on Twitter at CarolinaKing21. I am Bear Gruber. You can find me on Instagram Instagram and Twitter at Barrett Gruber, or visit my Linktree/Barrett Gruber. Want to support the show? Visit our page, theallaboutnothing.com, and become a member. There are several tiers available, including memberships that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive content. Visit theallaboutnothing.com. To find links to our social media, merchandise, and past episodes, as well as other details, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be heard on the show, you can call and leave us a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our partner podcasts. Zach and I host What the Pod Was That with Carrie Simmons. Visit whatthepodwasthat.com for links and details. Ami takes a deep dive down the rabbit hole in episodes of Welcome to Wonderland. Available on all of your podcast platforms. As well, you should check out DJ Lonzo's Top 5. Available on all of the podcast listening platforms. Please subscribe and share the show. If you're on YouTube, please like and hit the notification bell. The All About Nothing podcast is a product of Barrett Gruber Entertainment and Media. Thank you for listening.